In our last topic, we talked about the differences between using direct speech when we want to ask things from people around us. For example, especially if they're family or people who are close to us, we can just ask direct questions. We can speak directly, similar to these questions here in the second conversation when Charlie was talking to his wife. So the questions that he used when he asked his wife, he used these questions. He said, when are they arriving? What time does it start? He's asking about the party here. Should we email everyone again? Has he been invited? Have we booked them a hotel room? So all of these questions are direct questions, but if you take a look at the questions Charlie used with his co-worker, with Tanya, they're a bit different. Can you see here? So instead of saying when are they arriving, he used, can you tell me when they're arriving? So there was a change. And instead of saying, excuse me, instead of saying what time does it start, he said, could you tell me what time it starts? Again, there's another change. Should we email everyone again? And here when he talked to Tanya, he said, do you think we should email everyone again? Has he been invited? And when he talked to Tanya, his question was, have you any idea if he's been invited? Have we booked them a hotel room? And when he talked to Tanya, he said, do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room? So in each question, you can see he said it differently when he talked to Tanya. And this is the idea that we talked about in our last lesson, which is direct questions, indirect questions. And according to the rule, it says in more formal situations, it's more polite to use indirect questions. And when we say formal situations, maybe you're at work, you're talking to your manager, you're talking to your coworker, maybe someone you don't know, you can use indirect questions. And this makes you sound more polite. So this was the idea. So we talked about this, we talked about a few rules, and we also finished this exercise together. So what we did was we put these indirect questions in order because they weren't in order. So we put them in order. And we also changed all of these direct questions. We made them into indirect questions. So, and this was the last thing we finished in our last lesson. So now let's start here with intonation, okay? So we've had many exercises similar to this of how you can make your voice using your intonation, how you can sound friendly, how you can sound polite, how you can sound interested, and you can do this just by your intonation. So of course, as we talked about intonation before, the idea with intonation is how much your voice goes up and down. So the English people don't like it when you speak in a flat way. And when I say flat, I mean like this. Listen to the same question said twice. Which sounds more polite? Could you tell me what time it starts? Help with pronunciation, natural. I'm talking like a robot now because my voice is flat. And normal human beings, they don't talk with flat voices. Unless you're depressed or a robot, it's okay then. But if you're not depressed, if you're not a robot, your voice should convey or show how you feel. And if you want to be polite, your voice needs to go up and down. This is the idea. So now we're going to listen to the same question said twice, okay? One of them is polite, one of them is not very polite, okay? So let me just play them for you. And I'd like you to tell me, which one do you think is more polite? Is it A? Is it B? And number one, it's already answered. So A is going to sound more polite than B. So let's check and let's listen to the rest of them and find out. Okay, so we need track 2. Okay, CD2, track 26. Oops. CD2, track 26. Okay, so let's listen to this.
Track 26. 1. A.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
B.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
2. A.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
B.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
So number 2, which one do you think is more polite, A or B?
I think A, because in B, I don't know how their voice is loudly, I think.
Okay, let's listen to it again.
2. A.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
B.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
What do you think, Sana?
B.
But why? Why do you think B is more friendly?
It's like song.
Yes, that's the idea. It's like a song. This is what British people do a lot. If you go to the UK, and especially if you're talking to someone on the phone, for example, your bank or maybe a company or any service, this is how they usually talk. So it's, you know, it's kind of musical because they want to sound friendly. They want to sound polite. Okay. Now let's listen to number 3.
3. Track 26.
Oops.
What?
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
This is number 2.
B.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
3. A.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
B.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
A.
Correct. Let me just put a circle around the answers. So A is more polite, and number 2, B was more polite. Okay, let's listen to number 4.
4. A.
Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
B.
Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
B, I think.
Correct. B is more polite. Let's listen to the last one. Let's check.
5. A.
Do you think we should email everyone again?
B.
Do you think we should email everyone again?
B.
Yes. Okay. So this is the idea. If you want to sound more polite, more friendly, you know, you just need to move your voice, make it interesting. Don't speak in a flat way. You have to sound interesting, right? You know, you need to be convincing. Your voice needs to go up and down. This is the idea. Okay, so now let's continue with listening and pronunciation because we finished number 6 and 7. So here in the next part of the lesson, we want to talk a little bit about something called natural rhythm. So natural rhythm this means if you say all the words correctly with the right intonation and the right stress, this will create a natural rhythm, and this will give your language a native quality. So it will sound more likely, it will sound more like a native. And this is the idea. The more you have control on your syllable stress, your sentence stress, and how to say your weak forms correctly, how to say your strong forms correctly, how to link, and all of these details together, they create a natural rhythm, right? So here, what I want you to focus on, it says, notice the sentence stress, linking, and weak forms in pink. So we actually have three things happening together in each sentence. So if you take a look here, if you take a look at the words where we have a dot, so these are stressed words. So you will say them completely. Where, so it will be clear. The same thing here, live, because it's a main verb. So you'll hear it completely. You'll hear it clearly. Live. The same thing with had, because it's another verb. A lot. It's what is it? It's an adverb, I think. Sorry, it's an adjective. A lot of money. Get an adjective, a lot. And then money, it's the noun. So these words, you will hear them very clearly. Where, live, had, lot, money, you will hear them clearly. The rest of the words, you will not hear them clearly. So you will not hear would you. It will sound a lot shorter. Where would you live? Where would you live? Where would you live? Would you live? Would you? So you will not hear would you, would you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you?
Hi, how are you
عليكم
today?
السلام.
Fine, alhamdulillah. And you? Sana.
الحمد لله بارك الله فيك.
Sana is paying attention now. She's listening carefully.
No, because I am sick
She's
today.
sleeping.
Oh, you're sleeping. Usually that
No.
was Najat's role, but so we
No,
changed.
because I have headache. I don't know.
Oh,
Sorry to
yeah.
hear that. Let's hope you
Mm.
feel better.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the idea. So when you combine all of these things together, your pronunciation will sound natural, and you can hear a natural rhythm. And in addition to the strong forms, weak forms, we also have the issue of linking. So remember when we talked about consonant vowel linking? So you have the V from live, and you have the I from if. So it should sound like where would you live if? Where would you live if? So it's together. Where would you live if you had? Where would you live if you had? You had a lot of money. So it's together. Live if you had a lot of money. Live if you had a lot of money. Live if you had a lot of money. So it's, it's all together, this part. These two are together. Live, liveth, and all of this is together. You'll hear it connected. Where would you live if you had a lot of money? Where would you live if you had a lot of money? So this is the idea. So now let's hear how they say it, and maybe we can listen again and try to copy the rhythm. This is what we want to do. So let's listen. Let's take a look.
27.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
Oops, we want 28. 27.
1.
Where would you live if you had a lot of money?
2.
I've been living in England for 1.5 years.
3.
While I was on my way home, I met an old friend.
4,
Who do you think I should invite to the wedding?
Okay, so this is the idea. If you want your pronunciation to sound natural, and if you want it to have a natural rhythm, you need to focus on all the points related to pronunciation. Strong forms, weak forms, sentence stress. This is of course related to sentence stress. And then we have linking. All of these together create natural rhythm. Okay, so here they want us to find which words do you think are weak forms, strong forms? We want to do two things here in number 2. We want to circle the weak forms, and we want to write the linking sounds. So let's see if you can guess. Let's start here with Tom. I'm trying to download an attachment, but my laptop keeps crashing. Do you think it's got a virus? So where are the weak forms here? Where do you think they are in this sentence? Who can guess? What do you think, Malak?
I'm trying to
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to download.
download an attachment, but my laptop keeps crashing. Do you think it's got virus?
I think it's already sure. Here,
It's about this.
do you think do and you you will hear them in the short form. Do you think it's got a virus?
Mhm.
Correct. Okay. What about Anne here? Perhaps the software is a bit out of date.
And maybe perhaps the software is a bit off.
Here, actually, we have linking, right? The
Yeah.
software is a bit down, tough.
Out of,
All of these are linked, right?
yeah.
Software is a bit out of date. Okay, and then we have when.
When did you last update it? Did.
Correct. Did and you are in the weak form, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, and it slows down every time I try to send an email.
And every time I try to send.
Correct. Okay, I think it's time to get yourself a new computer.
I think it's time to get to
Okay.
your or not your.
To get yourself
No,
I think it's
your.
stressed. A new computer to get
I
yourself a new.
was thinking.
Was correct. Exactly the same thing. I was thinking exactly the same thing. I don't think it has a weak form. It's just one form. But there are a few linking words that happened. I think it's time to get yourself. I think there's a link here. Yourself and new. There's also a link here. All right, so these are just our guesses. Now let's take a look and let's go to the script. This way we can see all of it. And we can also listen and follow here the weak forms, the linking, and all of it. So let's go there and let's check it. This way we can check our answers. So track 29, CD2, track 29. Let's take a look. 29, CD2, 29, CD2, 29. Here it is. CD2, CD2. 26, 20. Here it is. Can you see it, everyone? Here. So the pink
Yeah.
words are the weak forms, and we can also see the linking. So we have linking here between what and are, what are, doing at, there's a link. I think it's got a virus. Think it's together. Got a virus. Software is a bit out of date. So software is a bit out of, this is together. Last updated is also together. Every time I try is together. Send an email it's also together. What else do we have? I think it's time. Yourself and you, yourself. This is connected. آخر واحدة. I was thinking exactly. And the link تاني. Okay, so I think Malak, you found all the right weak forms. ممكن اللي نسيناها الوحيدة اللي هي but. الوحيدة I think we forgot it. But the rest of them, all of them are correct. When did you? Okay, so let's listen to this. Let's see how it goes. Here it is.
Track 29.
Hi, Tom. What are you doing at the moment?
I'm trying to download an attachment, but my laptop keeps crashing. Do you think it's got a virus?
Maybe. Perhaps the software's a bit out of date. When did you last update it?
I can't remember. And it slows down every time I try to send an email.
I think it's time to get yourself a new computer.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Okay, let's practice this quickly, maybe just once. So Sana, you can be Anne and Malak can be Tom. And let's try to sound as close as possible. To the CD. Okay, so you can start,
Okay.
Anne.
Okay. Hi, Tom. What are you doing at the moment?
I'm trying to download an attachment. But
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Sana,
Okay.
can you say the pink words faster? Because they are weak forms. Don't stress them.
What are you? What are you?
What are you
Okay.
doing? What are you doing?
Okay. Hi, Tom. What are you doing at the moment?
I'm trying to download an attachment, but my laptop keeps crashing. Do you think it's got a virus? Do you think it's got a virus?
Maybe, perhaps. The software is a bit out of date. When did you last update it?
I can't remember. And it slows down every time I try to send an email.
Send an email.
I think it's time to get yourself a new computer.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, this is the idea. Whenever you have weak forms, try to say them as fast as possible. And if you find the link, try to link it like here. And here كلها ورا بعض هذه. Like this one وينها. The softwares here you can see between the S and the A there's a link. And then لحد date. So
Yes.
perhaps the software is a bit out of date. And the same thing حتى هنا. I think it's got a virus. Do you think? So this is very short. Do you think? والthink فيها stress. بتوقفي على think. You think it's got a virus? You think it's got a virus? Do you think it's got a virus? يعني زي ما حكينا عليه من قبل، احنا مش مطالبين بالضبط نديرها، بس مطالبين ان نتعودوا ان هيك يتكلموا. If you go to the UK, if you go to the US, it's very likely this is what you'll hear when the natives talk. Okay, so we can go back. Let's check our next exercise. So we talked now about pronunciation. We talked about natural rhythm, stress, and linking. So let's see our next topic. نشوف كان في any exercise تانية. No, this was the last exercise. Okay, so now let's talk about this topic. So angry planet. So here in this lesson, we want to talk a little bit about bad weather and natural disasters, okay? So this is in vocab. This is what we'll cover in vocabulary. But in the grammar, we'll talk a little bit about the passive. I don't know if you remember, excuse me, if you remember, maybe Malak and Najat, but we talked a bit about the passive in pre-intermediate B. If you remember, in the second half of the last course, we talked a bit about the passive. Who can tell me anything about the passive? Any information or anything you remember about the passive? I think we also talked about the lesson about collector. لا أتذكر pre-intermediate. Okay, so let me give you an example.
I think the passive without subject, yes?
Correct. Yes.
Yes, we'd remove the subject and we use the object.
صح.
After that, the tense, I don't know the tense if the present. There is some structure to put
That's
the
correct.
verb. Yeah,
passive,
that's why
passive.
In the past participle, right? You have to put it in the past participle.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So for example, if I say Sam, let's write it here. Sam kicked the red ball. Now, if I change it into the passive, it will sound like this. The red ball was kicked by Sam. And here by Sam, it's optional. If you want to include it, fine. If you don't want to include it, fine. Do you get the idea? So this is a switch from active to passive. Now, there are a few things that happened. First of all, the object لما كنا في الactive الطبيعي, the object هو المفعول به, the object was at the end, right? Red ball. But in the passive, we start with the object, right? This is how we start the sentence, the red ball. And then we change the verb into the past participle, was kicked. This is if we're using the past simple passive. But we have different types of passive. Not only the past simple passive, we also have present passive. We also have present perfect passive. There are different types. Actually, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about more than one type of passive. But this is the general idea. The general idea is, like you said, Sana, there's no subject, because instead of the subject, we use the agent. هيصبح الفعل يبدو يسموه agent. And now I have a question about the meaning here. What's the difference between saying the Sam kicked the red ball and the red ball was kicked by Sam? What's the difference? Because if you think of it, the meaning is the same, you know? We're talking about the same action, right? But what's the difference? There must be a difference, right? What do you think, Sam? Try in English first, and then you can change to Arabic.
In the first sentence, I think we know who kicked the red ball.
Okay.
The Sam kicked the red ball.
That's right.
but in the second sentence, it's no one know who kicked the red ball.
But
And
we said by Sam. The red ball was kicked by Sam. So
يعني
we
الكرة
know.
ضربت، هي هيك بالعربي، الكرة ضربت.
صح
لا؟
صح. لكن نقدر نذكره من
But
اللي ضربها.
English.
But in English we can say who kicked it. Like
I
here in my
think
example.
I think the first sentence they focus about it talks about subject, but at the second sentence it focus on the object, the red ball.
That's 90% correct. Yes. In the first sentence.
Important.
Yes. In the first sentence.
The first.
That's correct. This is because what Sana said is correct. In the first example, the normal sentence, in the active sentence, we know who kicked the ball. We know the subject. We know who did the action. And it's very important for us who did the action, right? So the focus of the first sentence, the focus is who kicked the ball. Do you get the idea? But in the second sentence, the focus is not who kicked the ball. حتى لو ذكرنا, even if we say the ball was kicked by Sam, even if we know, حتى لو عرفنا يعني, if we know who kicked the ball, it's not very important for us. What's important for us is that the action happened. Do you get the idea? So in passive sentences in general, that's why you find them a lot in academic writing. You sometimes hear it on the news. Because usually when you report something, maybe you're not very interested who did it. It's not important who did it. الفاعل ما يهمناش يعني بشكل أو آخر. بس الفعل نفسه أو الأكشن اللي صار مهم لنا. So we use the passive. الكرة ضربت. هذا اللي يهمنا إن الكرة ضربت. من ضربها سواء قلنا أو ما قلناش ما هي. It's not important for us to know. Do you get the idea? So this is the important difference. So when we get to the grammar part, of course, we'll talk in detail about the different types of passive. بس هذه الفكرة العمومية يعني. In general, this is the idea. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about some vocabulary related to bad weather and natural disasters. So here we want to talk about bad weather and natural disasters. So I'm going to read these words. If you see any new words, just let me know and we can talk a little bit about it. So we have a storm, thunder, lightning, a gale, a hurricane, a tornado, a heat wave, a blizzard, a flood, a tsunami, an earthquake, a drought, a landslide. So let's take a look at these words. Which of these words is new, or maybe you haven't seen it before or heard it before? Which of them? Does everybody know?
Most of them.
Most of them are new?
No, yes.
Yes.
I know heat wave, okay. An earthquake.
Okay, let's put a circle around the ones that you know, okay? So the ones that we don't know, we can talk about. So you know heat wave. You know also earthquake. Storm. You know storm.
A flood.
Thunder.
You know flood. Okay. What else do you know?
Thunder.
Okay.
Maybe. Yes, and
I think the pronunciation thunder, not thunder, isn't it?
Thunder.
Thunder.
Yeah, with a th, like thank you.
Thunder.
Thunder. Any other ones? Any other words that you know?
No.
Okay. So let's talk about the other words that are new. So lightning. Everybody knows thunder,
drought,
right?
it's clear, yes. It's drought.
What does it mean,
yes.
drought?
It means from dry,
Yes,
but about
correct.
the weather and.
Correct. So drought
Tsunami,
is the
it's clear.
tsunami is clear.
Yes.
إيه
Yes.
tsunami. Tsunami.
Tsunami.
Yes.
I think if Libya has a tsunami, all the
Yeah.
problems will go away. Libya will
A
be
tornado, it is like a tsunami. Tornado.
not exactly no.
Okay. I don't know it.
Okay, so you know most of them. You know half of them, I think, which is great. Okay, so flood.
A
You know
hurricane.
hurricane. What's a hurricane, Malak, in English?
It is. I don't know. It's like a storm, but it's very strong.
That's it. Correct.
Mhm.
A hurricane is like a storm, but a very strong storm. That's correct. So what's that, Sana? A very strong storm. What is it? In Arabic.
إعصار
Yes.
or
Yes.
عاصفة.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
blizzard. It's like a storm. It's like a
Correct.
storm, but by ice.
Snow, you mean?
Yes. No. Yes.
Correct. A blizzard is a snowstorm.
Blizzard.
Snowstorm.
Mm.
If you can say blizzard, you can say snowstorm. Both are correct.
Mm.
Okay. So
Lightning. It is. It means. Like برق.
yes,
No.
yes. Lightning, it's the light that comes before thunder. So you see the light first, and then you hear the sound, the thunder, right?
Yeah.
So light first, sound second. So thunder is caused by lightning. Or is it the opposite? Excuse me. Is it the opposite, Sana?
Yes,
Do you think thunder?
Thunder. It's the first.
Thunder first?
Or no? I
No.
don't know.
No. البرق قبل بعد تالي يجينا الرعد.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, we
Yeah.
hear the thunder.
But no.
نشبح الدنيا كي ضي بعد تالي يجينا هذيك الرعد.
Yes. Actually, Sana is right. Lightning is first, and then
ضي قبل
thunder.
وبعد تالي يجي صوت.
Correct. Because the lightning, it heats up the air, and because the air gets very hot very quickly, it explodes. This thunder sound is the sound of air expanding. هي هذه الظاهرة بسببها يعني. البرق من حرارته يسخن في الهواء جنبه، فالهواء التمدد اللي يصير هذا السريع يطلع بصوت الانفجار يجي هو صوت الرعد. This is how it happens.
أنا نحسبها لما السحب يضربوا في بعضهم هيك يدير صوت.
هو السحب لما يضربوا في بعضهم تصير الشحنة، تصير الشحنات. اللايتنينج يجي من احتكاك اللي هم الكلاودز together. لكن الصوت نفسه من اللايتنينج يجي. The thunder happens from lightning. مش لو ما فيش lightning مش هتسمعي thunder. But they're together, light, thunder and lightning, you know, مرافقات لبعض يعني. Okay, so tornado is another word for, it's like a hurricane, but a tornado usually goes around in a circle like this. This is a tornado. You get the idea?
دوامة يعني.
Yes, but from wind, not in the sea, in the air. So it's a type of storm, a very strong and dangerous storm. Okay, but usually it goes around. It goes around like this. This is a tornado. A gale is another word for strong wind. So a gale is like a storm also, this word. It also means storm, but usually there's no rain, because when we say storm, there's usually rain.
Just sand.
Just wind. A gale, it means just strong wind. اللي هو احنا عندنا نقوله شنو هي الكلمة اللي بيها نقوله فيها؟ نقول مرات عجاجات دي معناها فيها تراب يعني أكثر. عجاج. لكن جيل ما فيهاش تراب. جيل ريح وخلاص. You know, ريح قوية وخلاص. This is the idea of gale. Okay, a landslide. So let me explain what a landslide is. A landslide happens when you have a mountain or a hill okay? And there's heavy rain. There's a lot of rain. There's actually so much rain that the land or the soil moves and falls. It falls off the mountain. Do you get the idea? So what do we call this in Arabic? When you have so much rain on a mountain or a hill that all the soil comes down. And when the soil comes down, it takes away the trees and the houses and the people and the animal and the roads and the cars, anything in front of it, it will take it away. It will, remove it or push it away. So what's this in Arabic? A landslide. What do you think, Sana?
I think انهيار.
انهيار
Close.
الصخور انهيار الترى الرملي.
Close. Now, of course, we don't have it here in Libya because we don't have a lot of rain. But sometimes you hear it. It happens in India, or it happens in Colombia, or South America, or these places with a lot of rain. اللي هو الانزلاقات الأرضية، انزلاق أرضي. So من كثرة الأمطار الطبقة الفوقية اللي فيها التراب كلها تنزل. And it's dangerous, of course, because it takes everything with it. This is the idea. All right, so okay, so these are some of the words. Now, before we talk a little bit about them, let me just quickly take you to the definitions. If you take a look at the definitions, I think it will be always easy to remember them. 63. Okay, so here we are. Let me show you. Sorry. Here they are. Okay, so let me very quickly read you the definitions. So a storm, it's very bad weather with lots of rain, snow, wind مثلا. This is a storm. أي نوع من العواصف storm. Okay, فريح بس مطر wind, just say storm. Thunder is the loud noise that comes from the sky during a storm. So thunder is the noise, okay? Lightning, من اسمها lightning, is the light, okay? A gale, very strong wind. وعندنا hurricane. الهurricane طبعا في عندها أسامي تانية زي typhoon or cyclone. Hurricane لا علاقة نوع العاصفة لا علاقة بالمكان. For example, hurricanes don't happen in Africa. Hurricanes don't happen in Europe. But hurricanes happen in the Atlantic Ocean. It has to be in the Atlantic Ocean. So if it happens in America, you can say it's a hurricane. But typhoon, it's more specific in Asia. Cyclone نفس الشيء. يعني اسم العاصفة بيختلف على حسب المكان اللي تجي فيه في العالم. هذه القصة. لكن كلهم عواصف يعني. So a hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, all of them are strong or violent storms with extremely strong winds. هذه الفكرة. So a tornado, مرات يقولوا لها حتى twister, دائرية, اللي هي a dangerous strong wind that blows in a circle. Heat wave واضحة. We have heat waves in Libya. Not always, but sometimes we have them. It's unusually hot weather. But what's the difference between summer and a heat wave? Who can explain the difference? For example, our summers are hot. Can we say there's a heat wave every day, for example? Is that correct?
No, not every day.
Maybe in a month in summer, not all the summer, we have heat wave.
Okay.
Yes, maybe in August or yes.
But heat wave, it doesn't mean just hot weather. No, heat wave it means more than normal. هذا الشرط. مثلا كان النورمال احنا في صيفنا الطبيعي مثلا 35. Okay, and then maybe you have a week the temperature is 43, 44, 45. So you can say this is a heat wave because this is more than normal. But if the normal summer is 43, like Kuwait or Iraq or, in those areas, it's normal, 43, 44, this is normal summer. We cannot say heat wave. إلا لو جاء مثلا 60 ولا حاجة هيك فوق الطبيعي نقولوا heat wave. But in Europe sometimes even 30 يعني 30 بس لو ما جت في غير وقتها نقدر نعتبرها heat wave. فقصة الهيت ويف ما لهاش علاقة بالحرارة نفسها ولكن علاقة أن هي unusual. هذه الفكرة.
زي نحن لما نقولوا wind قبلي ولا
قبلي I think this is we're talking about wind أكثر من
wind,
heat wave. الهيت ويف هي موجة حرارة. This is the idea. Okay, sorry, just a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sana,
أيوة.
I dreamed you last night. I see you in my dream.
Really?
I don't remember really, but I see you.
Okay. Because you're thinking for me.
No,
Speak with me.
baby. Yes, I was speaking with you now, my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
المرات الأحلام يقولك على اسم الشخص يعني ما نعرفش نلحق في تفسير الأحلام.
ممكن
يقولك اسم الشخص هو اللي في الحلم يقولك معنى اسم الشخص يعني ما نعرفش الحق.
إن شاء الله خير.
إن شاء الله.
Okay, so this is the idea of heat wave. Heat wave, it means more than normal, more than usual. وهذا الشرط. We have blizzard, اللي قلنا snowstorm. Flood, it means too much rain. So this is a flood. Then we have an earthquake. It's the violent and sudden movement of the Earth's surface. Tsunami, you know, it's an earthquake that happens underwater, and then you have giant waves that destroy the coast. Drought is from dry. So if you have a long period with no rain, we can say this is a drought. Landslide, it's when large quantity of rocks and earth falls down the side of a mountain. بالضبط. هذا نقوله اللي هو انزلاق أرضي, landslide. So the adjective for storm is stormy. We say thunder and lightning, not lightning and thunder. Okay. Flood is a noun and a verb. Okay, so it's the same. The whole village was flooded. The whole village was flooded. جتنا passive. Can you see this? The whole village was flooded. مش مذكور السبجكت من اللي سبب الفلد. عادة بالنسبة للكوارث الطبيعية والbad weather, there's no subject, right? So you just say it's always in the passive. This is the idea. Anyways, these are the definitions. So this means we can take a look. We can go back and check the questions. All right, so first question here. It says, have there been any stories about bad weather or natural disasters in the news recently? If so, where and what happened? Okay, has anybody heard any news about bad weather or natural disasters lately in the news?
Yes, I think it's the last one in the Turkish.
In Turkey?
Yes, about a quick
earthquake.
There was an earthquake. When was this? Was this yesterday?
No, not yesterday. I think the few months ago.
A few months ago? I don't remember this.
Yeah.
When did this happen? I don't watch the news, but I usually read the news on the internet, but I don't remember I've read about this.
I don't know the area exactly, but I know
in Istanbul.
It was in Istanbul? Was it a strong earthquake? Or not very strong?
No, not very strong.
No, I think there is a building fell down. Yeah.
Just one?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but I know there is a building fell down and there is a people killed.
But if it's just one building, I don't think it's a very strong earthquake.
I don't know if one or more.
Okay.
But I hear it. I saw some news about this.
Okay. But is it true that a long time ago in Libya there was an earthquake? Is this true?
I think yes, but I think it's for a second or something.
But when was this?
Not too long.
It was very short, you mean?
Yes.
Do you remember it when it happened?
It happened in the night, but the date exactly no.
Was it more than 10 years ago?
No, I don't remember.
Revolution.
Before the revolution?
Before.
Maybe in the east.
Was it in Tripoli or was it in the east?
No, maybe in the east.
Maybe in the east?
But I didn't hear that. I hear about not Istanbul, Izmir in Turkey. I hear about maybe 5 degrees.
I
think maybe in February, maybe.
So the earthquake in Izmir happened in February?
Yeah. Not now. Yes, at this year.
This February, I mean, last month?
Yeah, yes. No, maybe last year.
Maybe last year?
Maybe, yes, maybe
the
at
end of the year.
Yes, maybe at
maybe,
December.
Yes, I saw, yes.
In December?
Yeah.
Okay. But has any of you experienced very bad weather before? Sana or Malak, have you experienced bad weather before?
No.
No?
In Libya, it's the weather.
Wind, yes, about wind.
Okay.
Maybe wind?
Yes, today we have wind.
But is it normal wind or is it like
Yes, it's normal.
very strong and dangerous wind?
No, it's normal.
Okay.
No, but I think happened after revolution.
You're talking
when-
about the earthquake.
No, not earthquake. I talked about the wind
Mm.
and like a storm. What
Here in
rain
Tripoli?
with the yes, especially if there is a wind and when I went to my job in Dat Al because the Dat Al in front of the sea,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really I felt like I don't know how to walk because it's very strong wind.
I thought, but did the building move?
No.
But you
Just
mean when
the
you were?
building, the building, because I think it's that العماد building in the site in the sea, and that العماد you see the door of my office, it's move. Yes,
So
I remember this.
the wind was very strong.
Because my office in the floor 15, and yes, I saw the door moving. This meaning the building moving. It's not especially if there is a strong wind.
So you mean the whole building was moving?
Yeah.
But in your office, did you feel that you were moving? Do you feel the ground was moving?
Yes, because I have like I forget Doha.
You felt dizzy. Did you feel
yes,
dizzy?
Yes, not only me, even my colleague.
So this means the building was moving.
Yes.
Did you think you were gonna die? Did you think it was the end? That you will be, you'll die in the office?
No, because not. I don't know how felt I in that time. I finished my work until when all the colleague. I finished the day of the work. Not.
You didn't leave and go home.
No, but
but you felt, but you didn't feel okay, right? You felt dizzy.
Yeah. Yes, and there is we have a field operation department. All the staff leave the office. Yes, because
and the 15th floor, is it the top floor? How many floors does it have?
Yeah.
20?
16.
16.
16 and yes, but 16 with their floor not account in the middle, not middle in the beginning.
You mean
one.
You mean not in the same building?
No, the building الخنقة هذيك بتاع الشيشة هذيك الأدوار مش محسوبة في الفلور.
Yeah.
حوالي 3 أدوار ولا 4 يعني إنه صح دور 15 لكن لما جيت تحسب الأدوار هذيك أنا مش ال 15. أيوة حاجة زي هيك.
Interesting. Yeah, I heard a friend told me this a similar thing, but it wasn't from a strong storm. He actually mentioned it, and it was in Tripoli. He lives in Zawid Dahmani, and he said, I think maybe this was 4 years ago. He said there was a very soft earthquake, and it only continued for a few seconds. And he said he described the same feeling you're describing. He said, I felt dizzy. I felt like I wanted to vomit because I felt things are moving. And even when he said, I even went down because he lives in an apartment building. He said, I went down to the street, and even on the street, I can still feel the same dizzy feeling because the ground was moving. And he said,
in the morning.
Yeah, it was at night. and very few people felt it. Only people who were awake, they felt it. But if you were asleep, you probably wouldn't notice. So
Yes.
not a lot of people noticed it. And it was
Yes,
for
and
a
that-
very few seconds.
Yes.
I
And that.
have
Mhm. Yes,
I
Mala.
have a story
Okay.
about disaster, but it's from mountain in Sabha in 2011. Mountain.
Is there a
Big
mountain
mountain.
in Sabha? Do you have a mountain?
Yeah, sand, from sand.
What is it called?
عريف, جبل بن
Harry.
عريف.
Okay.
There are a lot of weapons inside it.
Weapons.
Yes, in 2011, and the plan is explosive this mountain, but the plans at the past.
You
NATO.
mean the NATO
NATO.
bombed the mountain?
Yes. And the mountain is
Exploded.
Exploded, yes. And all the people in Sabha go out without their shoes, without without anything on their bodies.
Just they left their homes.
They run from their houses. We don't forget this day, and the exploded is extended until the morning, maybe from 1 o'clock at the night until 1 o'clock at the morning.
Wow, and it was
all the people go out from their houses and go to the farms away from this mountain, because we see this mountain from our houses. We can see this.
But how far away is it, the mountain? Is it like 10 kilometers, less, more? 5 kilometers?
It is near my brother's house, maybe 15 minutes about car.
15 minutes?
Sabha is everything is near, not far. We can go to anywhere in 15 minutes and by car.
So it was
15 minutes and
it was 15 minutes away by car or by foot?
Yeah.
15 minutes.
No, by car. Maybe 10 minutes.
So it was 10 minutes
and
by car.
The sky is light is red. The color is the sky. The sky is red.
Did you take any photos? Do you have any photos of this?
Maybe in the internet is.
Maybe you can find some photos.
Yes, maybe from the internet. There are videos about this thing. Yes, on the Facebook. You can write جبل بن عريف انفجار جبل بن عريف.
This is the first time I heard about this.
Yes,
there is something in the mountain. That's why they need to hit this mountain.
Yes, maybe because they used to store weapons there. It was a place for weapons.
There are a lot of weapons.
Stored, yeah.
Yes, and ذخيرة.
Yeah, ammunition. Ammunition.
That's why.
Yes, it's fall. There is a lot of people who died there on the mountain.
You mean they were near the mountain?
Maybe. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Even after revolution, in that العماد building, we faced some problem because there is a fishing and they used the gelatina. And when they throw the gelatina in the sea, the building will start move.
So you mean because of the explosives they use in the sea?
Yes, and this has happened a lot.
But
sometimes my shirts moving.
Really?
Yes.
So when it happens, it's that strong. You can feel it inside.
Yes.
Wow.
It's I think it's dangerous. Maybe sometime will maybe one
It will
time
fall?
will yes.
The building
I think
will collapse because of this?
maybe
Did you talk to the local council? Did anybody talk to maybe to the council of Tripoli, بلدية نفسها? Maybe they'll do something about it to stop fishermen
yes.
from using.
HFC department told to I don't know, but do something like this. But who will catch them?
Yeah, nobody can really stop them.
We see. Yeah, when I feel there is a moving, when I saw from the window, I see the
The
small
explosion underwater.
yes, and I see the person
Who's
threw
throwing the explosive?
Wow, it's
yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a disaster.
We ate the fish, and we ate the fish. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay, but what about weather in general? Do you think it's changed, the weather in where we live in Libya? Do you think it's changed since we were children, or do you think it's still the same weather? What do you think, Malak?
yes, the weather is there are smell is bad smell at the weather, and we are going out because the weather is not clean. All the people go out from this town
You mean
about
the air
bad.
is not clean anymore. It's polluted.
Yeah,
Mm.
yes, and all the people, nobody stay at this town. All the people without shoes, without just
You're
go
talking
out.
about when the bomb happened. You mean
There is
when
a
they
lot of
bombed the
bombing,
mountain?
not one bomb, not one bomb.
Mm.
There are a lot of exploded, maybe.
But this you're talking about 2011 now, not in
Yeah,
general.
yes.
Okay, I see.
All the day
Mhm.
we hear the explosion, big explosion.
Mm.
The
But
earth
what?
is quick with this explosion.
Yeah, you mean the earth was moving. You can feel the ground moving.
Yes, we
Mm.
think it is يوم القيامة.
Yeah, the end of time, doomsday, doomsday.
Yes.
But what about the weather in general, Malak? I mean, what about the
Uh,
temperature, wind, rain,
the
hot, cold?
sky.
Do you think this changed since you were in school when you were younger? Do you think the weather
No,
changed?
uh, there are a lot of uh, دخان.
Smoke, pollution, you mean?
Yes, yes,
You mean there's more pollution now compared to the past? Is that what you're
yes.
saying?
And it was at August. I think it's not. It's very hot in August 2011.
Mm, okay.
There are a lot of videos about this explosion.
Yeah, but here my
You
question.
can.
Yeah. I mean, in general, I'm not asking about the explosion itself.
Mhm.
I mean the weather in the
The
city.
weather, no,
No,
no.
you think it's still the
We
same?
can't see anything. We can't see anything. Just a smoke
Mm,
and this bad smell.
I see. Okay. What about
Maybe in August,
this happened in
30%.
August?
Yeah,
Mm,
maybe.
okay. What do you think, Sana? What about you? Do you think the weather in Tripoli has changed
Yes.
compared to
Yes.
when we were?
Change
Do you
a
think it
lot.
changed? How did it change? What do you think?
Yes, change.
In which way?
I think it's still. I think it's warmer than before,
Mm,
especially in the summer. And now in the winter before there is a rain, but now
mhm,
no. Especially this year, I think there is no rain at all.
So you think it's a drought? There's no rain.
Yes, yes.
I think you're right. Yeah, I also agree. I think
Mm.
I remember when I was a child, the weather was a lot colder, especially in the winter. Winters were colder than they are today, than they are now. I mean, the winters aren't
Yes,
very cold
sometimes
now.
there is snow.
Yes, it was colder and there was more rain. It was colder. There were more clouds, but now it's, you know, I feel it's drier. The weather is drier.
Yes.
So maybe the weather has been changing.
Mm.
I think it's a little worrying if you think about it,
Mm.
because a lot of things will stop growing, and I think many people are cutting trees, and all of the trees have been cut. I think most of the forests and the trees along the coast have been cut down. So maybe this is also affecting the weather. Okay,
Maybe
so we have an interesting article here to read about. It's all about natural disasters, but let's have a quick break just for Salah, and then we can do the reading. Okay. So let's have a quick break, and we'll come
okay.
back
Inshallah.
and do the reading.
Inshallah.
All right. So see you in a bit.
Yes. Okay.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yes, hello.
Okay,
Yes,
so you're back. Okay, good.
Hello, how are you today?
Hi, Hajar.
I'm feeling late.
How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah.
Were you asleep, Hajar? Did you just wake up?
No,
Okay.
but I have something. So
She forget the lesson.
Maybe she was having another
yes,
lesson. She was cheating on me with another teacher. She was having another English lesson.
Maybe.
Okay, so before our break, we talked about extreme weather, natural disasters. We talked about a few, examples of very extreme weather, and in Libya we don't have too much of it. That's what we can say, I think, except maybe for heat waves sometimes in the summer. But I think the rest, like storms or blizzards or earthquakes, tornadoes, I don't think we have any of that. Maybe we have droughts, some periods where we don't have when we don't have any rain. It happens sometimes. Excuse me. But otherwise, yeah, I think we don't have too much extreme weather. Okay, so before we read, we need to take a look at these words. So we have prevent, melt, deep, erupt, and evaporate. So I think most of you know what the meaning of prevent is, to prevent something from happening, for example, right? And melt is also, I think, clear, right? When we change ice to water, solid to liquid, this is melting. If you change anything from solid to liquid, we can say melting. Not only for ice, by the way, even for metal. For example, if you have a metal or gold, you can melt it.
From heat, maybe.
With heat, with high heat, you can change it to liquid. This is, just physics, normal physics. Deep, I think it's clear when we say something deep, like underwater, deep sea, or a deep hole in the ground. This is deep. Maybe erupt is new. Erupt is
cut.
Sorry?
It's cut.
Not cut, no.
Cut something. Okay.
No. Erupt is like a volcano. It's a bit like an explosion. It means when something comes out from the ground. Do you know volcanoes? What happens to volcanoes? They explode, right?
Explode, yeah.
But,
yes.
but they don't explode like a bomb, because a bomb, when it explodes, it's destroyed, it's gone, right? But a volcano, when it explodes, the mountain remains, but the fire comes from the top, right? And it's not actually fire. They call it lava. Lava is the liquid rock that comes from a volcano because of the heat from the earth, from the Earth's core, or from the Earth's inner layers, because there's very high heat under the ground. So this high heat, it melts the rocks, and after time, because of the pressure, this molten rock and lava, it emerges, or it comes out of the volcano. So erupt is like I said, it's the explosion. It's when the hot lava comes out of the volcano. So in Arabic, what is it when we say erupt? How can we translate it? Erupt is the verb and eruption is the noun. What do you think it is? Erupt and eruption. What do we call the action of?
اندلاع or لا.
Okay, but
انفجار not انفجار.
هو أقرب حاجة ممكن إحنا لأن البراكين دي ما نقولوا انفجار بالعربي، ولا نقولوا انفجار بركان.
Yes.
Yeah, but in English هم يفرقوا شوية بين eruption and explosion. eruption هنا يستعملوا فيها حتى للسنون الأطفال. يقولوا مثلا eruption ظهور الأسنان للطفل، لأن السن نفسها طلعت من اللثة، فهذا يعتبر eruption، حاجة تطلع من حاجة ثانية. You get the idea. فنفس الشيء حتى البركان اللي هو الصخور الدائبة هذه كلها، اللافا، الحمم البركانية تطلع أو تظهر أو تنفجر أو تخرج. المهم وصلت الفكرة أعتقد، هي هذه erupts استعملوا فيها للvolcanoes. Evaporate is when we change a liquid to gas, right? So for example, if you boil water for a long time, it will evaporate. It will change into gas, right? Or for example, if you put alcohol on your skin, it will evaporate. It will go away. It will become gas. So what's this in Arabic? Evaporate and evaporation.
تبخر.
Yes. Okay. So these are some of the words that you will see. Yes, Sana?
Eruption, even the people in 2000, maybe 11, the people eruption, the same. Yes.
No, you can't use it. No.
Yes.
No. You can't use it for people.
Maybe another word.
Yes, you can say people. I don't know the words. What do you want to say? Taro? Is that what you want to say?
Yes, taro.
Yeah, you can say. Sometimes they use the word rebellion. Rebel. ويستعملوا فيها كverb وكnoun. لو استعملت.
No, but I think there is another word like eruption.
Like eruption for people when they go out in groups. There's protesters, demonstration. ممكن تقصدي demonstration تظاهرة.
Maybe it means revolution.
Are you looking for revolution?
No, I know revolution.
We have demonstration.
I know revolution.
Do you know demonstration? We have protest, تظاهرات, demonstration تظاهر, protest تظاهر, rebellion اللي هو عصيان, rebellion عادة في إطار جيش أو بحرية أو حاجة زي هيك يقولوا rebellion. There's a revolution ثورة. I don't know, but eruption you cannot use it for people. The only two examples اللي نعرفهم eruption يستعمل فيها اللي هم أطباء الأسنان لما يتكلموا على اللي هم السنون اللبنية لما يطلعوا الأطفال يستعملوا فيها erupt و eruption, وللبراكين eruption. These are the only two examples I know. ممكن فيها استعمالات تانية but these are the two examples I know of erupt and eruption. Erupt is the verb, eruption is the noun. Anyway, so these are some of the words that we'll see in the article. So let me take you to the beginning of the article and let's read about it. So this is natural disasters. So I think we have to do it in parts, okay? So when you finish part A and part B, just let me know so I can move it and you can read C, D, and E, okay? So start with A and B. Read this first and then we'll move on.
if you move the Okay, I finished.
Me too.
Hajar, have you also finished?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so now that we finished the article, what we need to do is we need to match. There are some headlines. Let me see them here. It says, working best, look at the question number 1 to 5, give reasons, but I think there's a matching question first. There's a question missing. When okay, sorry. This is the second question. جزئية الثانية. All right, so we have the first part. The first part are the general questions here in question B. Let's take a look. So it says here, can people predict where and when earthquakes will happen?
No.
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 At all? No
No.
possibility?
Maybe there is
The
some
places,
study.
yes. Or
Correct. The places, maybe
Yeah.
they can, yes, but
But
maybe when is
But,
still not accurate, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
They still can't tell exactly when. That's correct. Okay. What about droughts? What can we do to prevent droughts according to the article?
We can
plant a
put
tree.
plants.
Correct. We can plant more trees, like in Libya, exactly like in Libya. Every day we're planting more trees. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. What causes a tsunami? How do tsunamis happen here in the first paragraph?
Tsunami, because there is earthquake in the ocean.
That's the idea. Exactly right. Yeah. So when there's an earthquake underwater in the ocean, this is when you get.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Or by landslide or volcano eruption.
Correct. But of course the volcano or landslide needs to be near the ocean or near the water, near the sea. Because a tsunami happens because of the waves of the sea or the ocean.
Yes.
So whatever causes them, it needs to be near.
Mm.
So this is the idea. Correct. Okay, now 4th question. Is the earth really getting warmer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, this is a very big topic now in the West. The problem of global warming. You know, there's so
Global
much
warming.
discussion. Yeah, the greenhouse effect. If you take an IELTS exam, you will have to see at least one question about this topic, because it's a big topic and everybody's talking about it.
Yes, أنا معاك نكسي.
Sorry?
I'm sorry.
Okay. So I thought you were asking. Yeah, so this is the idea of global warming. Okay, now number 5. What will happen if the North and the South poles melt? If they melt, what's going to happen?
The coast will be flooded.
Yeah.
Correct. The coast, especially in areas which are low, they will be flooded first, right? Like, for example, Venice in Italy. Do you know the city of Venice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Venice is probably going to drown.
And
or
even maybe Malta, yes?
I don't know if Malta is if it's lying too low, but if the sea level rises, I mean, if the North and the South Pole melt completely, yeah, maybe Malta too will disappear, I think.
Yeah.
Most islands will be,
Most islands.
Yeah, the Netherlands, because the Netherlands is known for being very low. Actually, even the name itself, Netherlands, it means the lowlands. Nether usually means سفلي, شيء سفلي. Netherlands الأراضي السفلية المنخفضة. So the Netherlands اللي هي هولندا يعني. The Netherlands is famous for being very low. وأيضا يعتبروا حاليا من الرواد في تقنيات منع الفيضان. من خبرتهم كتر الفيضانات اللي عندهم. عندهم زي السدود الصناعية. Anyways, they're experts when it comes to floods. But it's well known that the Netherlands is a low-lying country. So if there's a huge increase in the level of seawater, maybe it will, the whole country will be flooded with seawater. I think the last big flood happened in the 50s. ممكن آخر واحد.
Also in Morocco.
Morocco, they also have areas with low land near the sea.
Yeah.
I think also Jordan.
Jordan.
Because on the Black Sea, it's they said.
The Dead Sea, you mean?
Yeah, the Dead Sea.
Yeah, that's right. It's the lowest point on Earth. It's very low.
Yeah.
But Jordan is a little far away from the coast, because you still have Lebanon and Syria are near, and also Palestine.
And Yemen
is also low. It's on the coast.
They are flooded,
Yeah. Anyway, so this is a very dangerous situation. If it happens, I think even Tripoli will drown, because Tripoli is on the coast. It'll be flooded
Yeah.
if this happens.
Maybe, yes.
And I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, considering what we do every day.
Also in Sabah we have it loaded.
Do you think
Majari. By Majari.
from sewers? Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole country is, it's a disaster. Anyways, so now what we want to do in the second part of the question is, we have 5 questions here. Now, what they need us to do is, they want us to put each question in the right place. So, sorry. Part B, the questions that we just answered, they want us to put each question for the right paragraph. This is the idea. So, for example, the one about earthquakes, which paragraph is this? Where should we put it? Should we put it here? Should we put it here?
D.
Should we put it
D.
here? D is actually correct, yeah. So this means question number 1 is for paragraph D. You're right, Hajar. Okay, then it says, what can we do to help prevent droughts? Which paragraph is this?
B.
Maybe B, yes, B.
B is right. Yeah, so the second question, the answer for the second question is in paragraph B. All right, what causes a tsunami? I think this was the first paragraph, wasn't it?
A, yeah.
A.
Yeah, exactly. So in paragraph A, they explained how tsunamis happen. So question number 3, paragraph A. Then we have, is the earth really getting warmer? Which paragraph is this? The last one, E. That's right, paragraph E. And then the last question, this means paragraph C. The sea level will rise and towns and cities on the coast will be flooded. Okay. Now we have another group of questions in the second part here. Let's take a look at these questions. It says, why do tsunamis get stronger near the coast? Why do tsunamis?
Because the surface is low, not deep.
That's the idea.
The earth, yeah.
Yeah, because the tsunami, what happens is here, if we imagine that, for example, this is land, right? And this is underwater, right? It becomes deeper and deeper. It's like this. And then you have the seawater. So the seawater is like this. It's a bit like this, right? So when you have an earthquake in this area here, this will just make the waves get stronger and stronger as they come closer to the surface. So
yeah.
And this will make them much more. Yeah, it will increase their size.
Less bigger, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So your answer is correct. So this is why tsunamis get stronger, because they get closer to the coast and the ocean is less deep there. So all this energy, it goes up. This is the idea. Now, why does cutting down trees cause droughts? What's the relationship between cutting down trees and droughts, according to paragraph B? What does it say here?
Means the rainwater evaporates.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And why it evaporates is because it isn't held in the ground by trees. So even if you do have rain, it just evaporates quickly. And this lets the ground become very dry, and it makes it worse.
That's what happened to it.
That's what's happening, actually, yeah, because, there's uncontrolled...
Especially this winter.
Yes, yeah, this winter is dry, it's warm. The weather in Tripoli is becoming dustier every year. It's becoming sandier. All of this is, you know, it's, of course, is very bad because all the trees that used to surround the western area on the coast, most of them have been cut down, which is, I think, a disaster.
Yeah.
All right, then it says, what percentage of the world's population live near the coast? Where does it say this?
Maybe
I think the last paragraph.
quarter.
Yeah, a quarter of
Quarter.
A quarter. Is that correct?
Just a minute, I read this in somewhere. Half, over half.
half the world.
Yeah, over
the
half
population.
near the coast.
Over half, yeah.
Yes. So this means if the sea level does rise a lot, you know, everybody will have to move to the inside. Okay. Then it says, which parts of the world are more likely to be hit by earthquakes? Do we know which?
North America.
North America.
Indonesia.
Japan, Indonesia, Chile, the Caribbean, yeah, correct. Yeah, so there are certain areas because these areas they are near, they call them tectonic plates. هم الصفائح تحت الأرض. Tectonic plates, because these areas are near tectonic plates, and these plates they usually move. And earthquakes happen when these plates move, and all these places that they mentioned are full of volcanoes, and they are near the moving tectonic plates, the ridges.
Also in Asia or in Europe, in Turkey, I think there are a lot of quakes.
Turkey too. Yeah, because if you take a look here, actually there's a nice image to you, and it shows which areas around the world and that are most likely to be hit by earthquakes. Here, let me show you. Here it is. Can you see? Let me show you the photo. A little bit of geology. Who likes geology?
Not me.
Geology.
I think Sana, because
yeah, because she's an engineer, maybe. Can you see this? Can you see the tectonic plates? So these areas are where volcanoes and earthquakes happen a lot. Can you see them? All these lines.
Yes.
هذا يسموا فيهم اللي هم الريدجز، اللي هم الأماكن وين يتلاقوا الصفائح الأرضية يتلاقوا. فهذا ديما يصير فيهم الحركة، ديما فيهم براكين وفيهم زلازل. Can you see Turkey here? Turkey مقابلة لواحد من الخطوط. That's why Turkey has earthquakes. هي جايتهم تحتهم الخط هذا. لكن احنا نوعا ما بعد شوية على الخط. احنا في صقلية في بركان مشهور اسمه فيسوفيوس، هذا أقرب واحد لليبيا، ممكن يعني أقل من ساعة بالطيارة. there's يعني جزيرة صقلية، هذا قريب. هذا لو انفجر يوصلنا الخيارات متاعه يوصلوا فيسوفيوس، لكن أعتقد قاعد خامد. let me show you a photo. Can you see this? This is Mount Vesuvius. This is not far away from us. In Sicily, Siqilia. So maybe it's very close to Malta, not far away from Malta. The eruption, لا دي صورة مش حقيقية. Anyways, it exploded in the past. So this is the idea of volcanoes, earthquakes. So, and then it says the last question: what evidence is there for global warming? Do we have any evidence for global warming? How do we know it's really happening? Do we have any evidence for it?
No.
And what does evidence mean, this word, evidence? When we say evidence.
حقائق أو
Close.
دليل.
دلائل.
Yes, yes. Evidence is like proof. Proof,
Yeah,
evidence.
proving.
To prove something, if you want to prove something, you need to bring evidence.
Evidence, yes.
Yeah, so the question is asking, what is the evidence for global warming? Do we have any evidence?
I think the temperature, the high
Yeah.
temperature, increase
Correct.
the temperature.
Yeah, because scientists have been measuring the Earth's temperature for the last 150 years, right? And since the beginning,
1.5 centigrade.
yeah, and this is, it looks small, but this is when we're speaking on average. يعني للأرض كلها صار الزيادة هذه. This means in some areas it's more. And in some areas, of course, it's less. هذا يعني الأفريج هذا الرقم. So it means the Earth has been, getting warmer. All right, so this is a fact. All right, so let me show you what we'll talk about in our next lesson. So in our next lesson, we'll talk about the passive. So we will discuss it and we'll talk in detail about it. But before we just finish our lessons, I want you to take a look at these two interesting examples. So the first one, this is a normal sentence. This is a, present simple, normal present simple. Earthquakes under the ocean cause tsunamis. Tsunamis are caused by earthquakes under the oceans, right? Under the ocean. So here you can see clearly the difference between passive and active. It's like they're opposites. So in our next lesson, we will talk about what's the subject of each sentence, what's the object, where is the focus in each sentence? Is it on the earthquakes? Is it on the tsunamis? So we'll talk about this. And then we have two nice exercises. We have this exercise where we need to find the verb to be used in each verb form, in each different passive, because we have all these are different types of passive. So you can use passive in so many different ways. So we're going to talk about the verb to be that they used and the past participle from the article. Okay. And after that, we're going to do these two interesting exercises, number 7 and this one, part B. And if we're lucky, maybe we can also get to this lesson. All right, so that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you again on Wednesday.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Good night.
Bye.